Today I want to take a look at some web development, believe it or not. And I think the way I see it, there's basically 4 ways to do web development. There is like, let's say, old school. Let me zoom in. Old school, which is just like raw HTML, JS, and CSS. Then there is like modern web development, which is stuff like React, Vue, Svelte, maybe to a lesser extent Angular, things like that. Then there is kind of like, let's say, postmodern, which is going a little bit back to the old school, and I'm specifically thinking about HTMX. And then there is something else, which I'm not sure what to call, but let's call it WebAssembly, because that's what it's based on. So there's like WebAssembly based programming, where my way of thinking of it is you can build an application using something like Raylib or various Rust libraries that then compile to WebAssembly. So you're basically programming in like a proper statically typed language, and then you're drawing your whole application inside an HTML canvas or things like that. So we can write C plus Raylib, or we can write like eGUI for Rust, etc. And today I want to take a look at this one, HTMX, because the other ones I feel like this one I probably also want to take a look at some point, but these two I feel like I'm pretty familiar with them and they're not so interesting. But doing some HTMX could be interesting. So to do this stuff, I think you need a couple of things. You need a web server, obviously, and you need an HTML templating engine. And this will allow you to easily like write the HTML that you need to return to the user. If you don't have that, if you have to write HTML or maybe construct it yourself, I mean, you can write your own templating engine. That's basically what you will end up doing, I think. But you need some kind of templating engine so you can have the concept of different components that fit together, and you can like modularize your HTML. Otherwise it will be a lot of duplicated code and very difficult to work with. So you need some kind of templates to enable components and HTML code reuse. So for this guy, we are going to use Rust first of all for the web server. So we also need a crate for the web server, and I looked around and I'm just going to use this one, Actix, or the crate is called Actix Web. And for HTML templating, there's also something, another crate, which is called Terra. So I'm going to use that. And another thing is like basic styling. I'm going to use missing.style. So if you go to here, this website is actually made by the same guys who made HTMX, as far as I can tell. And it's just some basic styling that will make your website more or less look like this, but like it's way better than raw HTML. And you only need to include one script tag here, one link tag. So I think that's it. Let's write that. Let's try to do that. All right. So we have here a new package I made, a new crate. So let's open it up and let's try to run it. Cargo run. So it says hello world, which is great. It seems to work. So what do we need? We need Actix Web, and what is the package that they recommend, the package version. Here they say 4, so I'm going to take 4 as well. Then we should get Terra, and that uses the newest one that I saw was something like this. And they also recommend using lazy static, the lazy static package, to compile the templates once as a static variable, like basically a global variable. So let's also include that. And it is 1.4.0. So there we go. And now let's try to get started. So let's start looking at this HTMX web, the raw web server. So we need a bunch of includes. Let's paste those in. And then we need to define a main function, HTMX web main. And this has to return a result, an empty result. And in here we make an HTTP server, and we have to bind it to some port. So we do like this. We run it, and it is some async function. So what happened? Let me try to do this. So it works in the following way. I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, we can put all this inside brackets. So what do? You make an app, which you get from HTMX Web, and you register basically some services. So let's try to make one of these services. So first you can say, what's the method? We're going to use get for now. And I wonder actually, so one of the things that HTMX is like really into is these HTTP request methods that are not just get and post. So I wonder if we have delete, put, and patch, and I think also update is something. So let's see if that works. So anyway, we need an index, and those have to be async functions. And we can call it index, and it should return something that is a responder. Let's not think too much about it. And we say we return a response that has status code OK, and the body of the response is any kind of HTML. So let's see if we can get this to work. So this is a title, and this is a paragraph, exactly. So here we go, let's format it again. So now we just create an app, new app with this service, and it when you get the index, just like google.com, then it will return this stuff. Okay, so what we can do now is we can run it, and there's some kind of very annoying thing going on. All right, I had to update a bunch of stuff, but it looks like we are rolling again. So we're still just trying to actually, I think this is called patch. So let's see. Oh, we already had patch. Sorry. So let's get rid of that. And let's see. There we go. Now it's still, I just don't get what's happening there. Maybe it's because Rust Analyzer is running. And it's for some reason excruciatingly slow. So here we go. Let's trying to build, and now we build it, and it's running. So let's test out our new web server, and here we go. So now we have a title and a paragraph. So, but you can see we had to write this HTML ourselves, which is not practical. So let's go back and have a look at how this templating library wants us to set it up. So we got to do this stuff, and the direction to the source, let's make that a variable, like the path to the source, and it's gonna be something like this. However, this is not really gonna work because we also have to say use lazy static. This is not really, and we also have to say use, yeah, this is not really gonna work because we are running well, it could work. We just make a templates here, and let us also stop that. So actually, before we do this, I want to show something else. Let's say, okay, so we're running our web server now, and it for some reason takes a long time to build. So now it's running. We can go here and we can see we have some content. Now let's say we want to change it. This is we can add an element. This is a smaller title or heading. Now the website doesn't update. We have to go here where we're running it. We have to stop it, and we have to rebuild the whole thing. And now it updates. So that's quite tedious if you have to do that all the time. So we're also gonna use something called Cargo Watch. So they recommend it here, auto reloading, Cargo Watch. So let's put that in this overview file, hot reloading. Maybe we do it like this. Well, let's not spend time on that right now. So we also have missing.style, which is this stuff. And maybe we do want to link to this as well. So we link to that, and also Actix Web. All right. So Cargo Watch, let's just do the following once you've installed it. Okay, we need to install it. Let me just do that. Or maybe we can do it together. So let's get this stuff, and let's find somewhere to install it. I have this external thing. So let's clone the important things, and I have to do it like this. That's a bit annoying. Watch exec Cargo Watch. There we go. So let's build it in release mode. All right, so that's built. Now inside here we have the executable, and we need to make that available. So we need to do something like, let's print the current working directory, target, release. Let's see if that works. And then we actually want to, let's say, export path equals something like this. But actually we need to evaluate it. And then we can put that into the bash RC like that. And now it should be available. So if we go here and we say, let's source the bash RC, now we can say cargo watch and run it. So it compiles it, and we still have this this code here, so that hasn't changed. Now we need to zoom out a bit, and now we realize this is actually not a title, it's a heading. So let's change that, and now it should automatically recompile, and we can just reload. And it's because it's quite slow for some reason, I think. But you can see eventually, without me doing anything else other than just saving the file, we've updated it. So that makes it a very nice feedback loop. I only edit the file and it automatically updates the application. Okay, so that's that. The next problem is we don't want to be here writing all this HTML like this, because there'll be a lot of duplicated. Let's say we want to put this is a heading on every page, so we'll have to write that multiple times, like if we do it this stupid way. So let's not do that. Let us instead use these templates. And we don't need a match. So what we're going to do is we'll call this templating library, and we'll say looking for templates in the templates folder. And here we just go into these folders, and we pass everything, and now we have it available. And what we can then do is we can say, let's say page content is the templates, and we render the index. We can also provide it with some data. For now, we will just say, let's say context is this, a new context. And then we can simply say, okay. So templates can also have data inside them, which you provide via a context. So we'll see an example of that in a minute. So for now, we just do this. Now, this file index.html doesn't exist, so we should go make it. And what are we gonna do here? So let's see how these templates look. And actually, I don't want to look at this. I want to look at the example here from the example app that HTMX has. So let's say HTMX example application is this stuff. And we can probably just do here, because I'm not super great at this templating stuff. So first we can start by making a layout template, actually. So let's say layout. This is something that will be included in every single page we make. So it should include things that we don't want to repeat again and again. For example, the head tag. So let's say head. And we can make a title, Rust MX. And now we can, for example, a very nice thing would be to provide the style sheet that we have found here. This guy. So we have this. And let's ignore the other things. We have the body. We have the end of the full HTML file. And then usually you want to put things with this specific style sheet. You want to put things inside the main tags because that's where all the nice styling happens. So let's say that every page will have this header tag. And then the specific things for other pages will go inside this content block. So you say block content, and that allows us to later on in another template replace this line with whatever we want. So now that we have that, let's go into index. And you can see how that works here. We're going to say it extends the layout. And then we can we say that, okay, whatever comes next, let's put that into the block. Like whatever comes between these two tags goes in the block content. So we can say here, this is the content block. Okay, so now we have the index, we have the layout, and in here we say, okay, get the index template and render that, and return that as the result. So let's see if our website actually updates. So it doesn't. Finally it did. So here we go. We have the header and we have the content block, and let's also try to have a variable. So we can say like message from Rust, and in here in the context we say context.insert message from Rust, hello from Rust. And I suppose that has to be mutable then because we are inserting. So we saved. Let's see if it's finished. And now we have the hello from Rust here. And we're not happy with that, we can say, because it's kind of like too close to the header or whatever. Maybe we can wrap it in a paragraph tag and we get a little bit of space. Okay. So that's nice. I think now we have all of the basic tools. We have hot reloading, we have basic styling, we have the template engine, we have the web server. Everything is basically up and running. We can extend it using, like we can make different pages. Let's actually try to make a different page just for fun. So here is like, let's call it info, and it's gonna render the info template, and there'll be no there will be no data, sorry. Also, I should install this something to get rid of this error, but we're not going to do that right now. So we make another template here, and we're going to basically copy this, and then we'll make a paragraph. This is a lot of useful info. So we got that, and you can see here when we get to info, it should call this function, but we should not forget to register it. So we just say service, another service on info. And that should be okay. So now it has recompiled, so now we can try to see if it works. So we can go here and we can say /info, and now you can see the header is the same because we use the same layout, but now we have a lot of useful info. All right, so that's all well and good, but let's try to actually make something. So what I thought of was we can make like a flashcard app, that that you use to learn Spanish. So I asked ChatGPT to generate us a bunch of word pairs and put it in some format. So here it put it in JSON, but whatever. And now we can try to do something with that. So perhaps I want to add another module that will say it's the words module, the words RS. And you could read this. I mean, in principle, you should read this from well, you know what we can do? We can say include string, and we'll go into assets and we'll include words.json. We probably couldn't read source. Okay, so it's trying to read it from source. So we have to do this. And let's do static words. It's a string, and we do this, I think. So now we have those words loaded, and I think we need a JSON parser. So yeah, I don't like that too much, that we need to add a JSON parser. So maybe instead of that, we are going to do a little bit of a trick here. You feel free to add a JSON parser for your application. So let's start by deleting that. We'll have a comma. Actually, I shouldn't do it like that. So delete forward to there, we go forward to there, we delete forward to there, go here, go forward to that one, and we delete that, go here. So that did not work. No, why didn't it work? Okay. Now, actually, you know what? Let's do it one more time. That one we want to keep. And there we go. I think that should do it. And okay, let me work out this macro. Okay, I don't know what kept going wrong, but now it seems to be working. So we can do this. Now we just have the raw word pairs. So let's make a function that is like, yeah, we can try this. So let's get the words to begin with. And inside main, let's make a quick endpoint that is just like words. And what it's going to do is, sure, let's do it like this. We render the words, but we're also going to say, here are the words actually. And inside context, we're going to put the words. So I also want to, let's not do that. So let's go into templates. Let's make words. And again, we just copy this stuff. And here we're going to put the words. So let's try to make that work. And also in the index, why don't we add a link to the words? So we have the words, we need to register it. Words, there we go. And this should not be called info, it should be called words. So it's still desperately trying to recompile. The name words is, okay, so words data. Words data. The name words is defined multiple times. Because there's also the module. So not very pretty, but we're going to do it like this for now. Has it crashed? No, it's still compiling. Okay, so now we have a bunch of words. So let's go into the words module. Let's actually put that up here. And how do we want to tackle this? So here we can get the words, but maybe that's fine. So let's say get random word pair. So maybe that should be a pair of strings. Yeah, it's a pair of strings. And we're going to say, let's get the lines. So it's going to be words.lines. And maybe we want to do that as a vector of, can I do number of words? Yeah, but that consumes the iterator. So we have to get the lines again. Or let's say we want to get the word, which, sorry, not the words, but word pair. So we should get every line. We go to a random number. So random index. We can do this. Use. So how do you do? So then we have to add the random crate. I think that's right. Rand is just whatever. And we get a random index. We get that word pair. And let's now split it on not white space, but split at. We don't want to split at. And iterate over substrings if the strings are separated by characters matched by a pattern. And what's the pattern? The pattern is comma. And we're gonna just get the two words and return them. And here it should be not that, it should be random index. So now over in main, when we access words, we're not gonna get all the words, we're gonna get a random word pair. And it's gonna be word 1 and word 2. And we'll say word 1 is word 1 and 2 is 2. But now clearly we have to update this thing. And for now, obviously this is not maybe not very good for learning. It's not a very good flashcard if you just see the answer right away. But we're gonna do like this. So now every time we load it, it gets a random word. And obviously there's still some issues like with escaping and whatnot. You can see adios is not correctly escaped. But we're not going to fix that right now. It's more the principle of the thing. Okay, so far so good. We haven't used HTMX for anything. So let's actually try to do that. So in here, we want to make something where it only shows the first word, the Spanish word, and let's do that. So how do we do that? How do we do that? So maybe we can do something like this. Let's just see if it works. And this one has initially style, visibility, I think it's called hidden. So let's see if that worked. Yeah, now we don't see it. But we can add a button that once we click it, it's gonna run toggle English, let's say. Or let's say reveal answer. And I think we can put a script tag here that will let us make a function. So reveal answer goes into the document, it gets the element with the ID English, and then we set the visibility to visible. So now we have a button, we can click it, and it shows the answer. So yesterday, so that's great, but you have to reload the page every time. So how about we make another button using HTMX. So what we can do is we can say, let's get a word. The thing we want is a word. So let's say next, or it's not a word, it's a word pair. Next word pair. Okay, so we need an endpoint for that. We need an endpoint. If you get a word pair, it's just getting a random word pair, and it's returning some very basic HTML. And I think we want to return this HTML. How about we do that? How about we do that? So let me indent it. And this stuff I'm going to put in here, and I'm going to maybe make word pair HTML. So just some very, very simple HTML. Okay. And when we access this endpoint, we are getting that HTML. So word pair, and we'll need to register that service. So now we can also see how it works. Let's go localhost 8080 word pair. And you can see it returns some very basic HTML, not styled or anything. But now if we go here, we can say, okay, pequeño means small. Then we can say next word pair, and it does not work for some reason. And obviously the reason is we haven't really enabled HTML. It doesn't know anything about HTML yet, because we need to put in our layout the HTMX code. So how do we get that? Let's see, HTMX. How do we get that? maybe we just go to GitHub and we say, give me this source. There's not some minified stuff, but I suppose it's fine. And maybe it's inside assets, make some kind of sense. And I still, it's really annoying. So now we have HTMX. So let's add a link to that. And what is that? That is actually a script tag. So we need to, let's get rid of that. Yeah, it's a script tag. So we need to do something like this. But now I'm not sure exactly where we're gonna get it from. Let me see here. It's just HTMX.js. So I'm not sure it's gonna be able to find this, but we can give it a try. Not that one, but did we lose it? I think I accidentally closed it. No, it's over here. Okay. So reload it and we can check if we actually got it somehow. Anyway, so it still doesn't work. So HTMX, there should be just like, no, we need to get it to work. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So maybe we need to go one up because it's looking in the current folder to start with. And still not. So is it even correctly? We have hxget and it's failing to load this thing. Which makes sense. Which makes a lot of sense. And because no, it says asset. Yeah. So let's go have a look here and actually, I suppose the problem is that we are not serving the assets folder. And what happens if I do this? Same thing. Okay, the problem is we're not serving the assets folder. So we need to tell our web server to also serve the assets folder. Advanced static files, there it is. So serve files from specific directories. Files can be used. So we need apparently actix files. And that's it. So then in here we register a new service, which looks in the assets folder. Not sure what that is for. And let's try this. Let's try this. So it's still recompiling because it's slow. Actually, it failed to recompile. That's because we don't have that package. So I'm just going to add a random version of that. There we go. And it still failed to load that. Let me do it off screen. All right, I think I figured out the problem. So when you access assets, it should, so this is the URL and this is the folder. So actually this should also be assets. Now it's recompiling. It should not normally be this slow to recompile. It's just my computer for some reason. So let's go into assets. And it shows nothing. It shows nothing. So why is that? Now it seems to work. If we go back here, still fails to load. Oh, now it loaded. Okay, great. So finally, if I press next word pair, you can see it actually does something. But it has basically put the content inside the button, which is not good. So what we need to do is make we need to tell actually let's do it like this. We need to tell HTMX where to put the content, and now we need to go into word pair and we need to remove the button. So now this is like a very, very basic component, almost like something you'd see in React. So let's wait for it to recompile. Familiar means family. We can say next word pair, and it still doesn't work because I think I forgot something very crucial, which was to actually tell it that the target of this thing is word pair. I think you do it like this. So por favor, please, next word pair. And now you can see it replaced this thing up here instead of what's inside the button. So tiempo's time, adios is goodbye. Now for some reason even the escaping works. Dos is true, mar is C, and this is yellow. So now you can build a simple web app like this. And of course this is not extremely pretty. And actually, I wonder if we can just say, like, include this. Is that a thing? It seems to not be. Maybe it has to be single quotes. I think there's something with that. And it's because it's called a word underscore pair. So we do this. Yeah, so we can even get rid of this and fully reuse the code, which is very nice. And that allows us to go into word pair and then make some styling here. So we can even say, we can even go into, maybe you'd make this in like a style, like a CSS file, but we can just add some styling here, and we'll say, okay, if you are Spanish, you have some style, and if you're English, you have some other style. And yeah, that could even be like, let's do it like that. That's a good idea. So now we move the styling over here, still works. And we can increase the font size. Probably also want to do this here. So now it looks like we want some classes and maybe instead of these IDs. But anyway, you can set the background to like a nice color, light gray maybe. That's horrible. Maybe the width is like fit content. And we add some like padding. Background is, maybe it's like dark blue instead. Maybe that's nice. And we need the style over here. So obviously we shouldn't copy paste this, but this is just to show the point. And this can be dark red. Okay, I'm not a designer, clearly. And maybe we say min width can be that is fine. So now they have the same size. So you can do things like that. And as you can see, it just works. I get another one. It has the same styling. So this is almost like a React component. It's like a web component. All right. So I think that's it. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.